Hi guys, next on the season preview list, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. So start the coaches at first. The head coach, you're going to start your Godtype Pearson, former Super Bowl championship head coach. He's won two Super Bowls as a coach, was a head coach, always assistant. He's a good head coach. He just kind of struggled last year with the Eagles, but he's still good. It was fine. Offensive coordinator, you got Press Taylor. Their offense had some. They had a really good first half. Like both team had a good first half. But then second half they did terrible. And that's the reason they missed the playoffs. Then the previous year he spent this 2021 as senior offensive assistant for the Colts before he came here. So then he was then defensive coordinator. You got a new guy, new coach for them, Ryan Nielsen, who's his first year as defensive coordinator, but he has 21 years of experience, so he has been a coach for a long time. Just first with the Jags, so we'll see how he does. But that's it for their coaching staff. They got decent coaching staff. So that's it for them. Next, let's go to their depth chart. You got Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback. He hopes you hope your defense guys obviously dreads him first of all for a reason, but he hasn't lived up to all the hype. He is when he came out, he was a lot of people were saying he was the best quarterback prospect since guys like Andrew like Peyton Manning. He's had a good career so far, but I don't think he hasn't really lived up to that yet. So hopefully, maybe another year will be good for him. So yeah, last year in 16 games, he had 4,616 yards. Sorry, 21 touchdowns, 14 interception. So he did have a lot of picks, and then he did have 339 yards on the ground. He had four more touchdowns there. So he had a good year, but still, like for already like a lot of people thought he was. That's not. You think he should have at least 30 touchdowns, and he had a down year compared to his sophomore season, where he had more touchdowns. He had less picks. So yeah, but we'll see. Hopefully, have another good year. So that's it for Chila. Next, we'll go to the backup. Not a first round pick from 2021 at quarterback. You got Mac Jones. He did not do very good as a starter for the Patriots, but as a backup, that's going to be fine. But you don't want him starting. Like he is not a very good starter. So yeah, but in 11 games, he had 224 completions for 10 touchdowns, 12 picks. So he didn't have the great of a year. So last year, kind of it was like the Patriots kind of switching between him and Bailey Zappi as their starter. So yeah, but still, he didn't have a very good year. Behind them, he got JJ Beathard. I think he's showing he's gonna be a good backup, but it's gonna be tough for him to make the roster. And I don't think they put at the age he is. I don't think would put him practice got to carry a third guy. But I think they might carry a third guy, and they don't have another quarterback on their roster right now. They can always add somebody later, but as of now, they don't. But then at running back, they got Travis Etienne Jr. He had another good year last year. He had 267 carries for 1,008 yards. He had 11 touchdowns. He only averaged 3.8 yards a carry, but still, he did have over 1,000 yards. So he had a good year in the air. And receiving wise, he had 58 receptions for 476 yards and one touchdown in the air. He totally had 12 touchdowns. So he had a pretty good year. He didn't lose. He didn't have any fumbles this year, but at least I can see into the ESPN. That's what I'm going off of. So yeah, they got. So then he got a guy. He's a good runner. He's a pretty good running back. He's in the top of the league. And behind him, he got Tank Bigsby. He's more of a Etienne's more of like a elusive guy versus Bigsby's more of a power back. So if they want if it's a short yardage situation, they want to get just run it right up the middle. Bigsby can be more of that guy. He didn't play much last year. Like he only had 50 carries for 132 yards and two touchdowns. We'll see. Maybe with another year of development, he can make another play at time. It's just Etienne didn't get injured last year, so he had no real reason to play Bigsby. So we'll see what happens there. But he's a good number two running back. Behind him, you got Dearness Johnson. He's okay. He's he's not he's not that good, but he did had some decent. He had like some decent games with the Browns. How much of that was like they had a great offensive line this time there? Like that always helps. Yeah, he's your third string, so it's not a big deal. But if you need him to, because injuries can happen, he can step in if needed. Behind him, you got Keelan Robinson, a rookie from Texas. He's okay. Like his fifth round back, he'll most likely make the roster because I feel like he'll have the advantage over Gary Brightwell between who makes number four. But one of those, if Robinson doesn't beat out Brightwell for number four, I feel he'll probably be on practice squad. Texas just loves producing good, like draftable running backs. Really. So that's it for the running back room. You got a really good guy. And you got some decent depth behind him. So let's go to wide receiver. It's you hope Brian Thomas Jr. can be number one guy, but as of now, you just got a lot of guys that are like good number twos, but nobody that's really proven they can be a number one wide receiver. So you're hoping Thomas can be that. So you can't. He could be. There's three seniors drafted in the first round. So you still got Christian Kirk. He's the only guy in your top three that was here last year. This is his second. This will be his third year at the Jags. He had 57 catches or 787 yards and three touchdowns. That's not a very good year to number one right out. So you really hope Davis might be able to do that in a more bigger role because he won't be behind Stephon Diggs anymore. And like I feel like Kirk and Davis kind of run. They're like both good, but they're not great. They're kind of around the same level, I think. So Davis last year had 45 catches, 746 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He played all 17 games. That tie that he had a down year. He did have some less yards, less catches than he did his year before that. But yeah, like he had Diggs ahead of him his whole time in Buffalo because he joined the Bills the same offseason that Diggs did. So yeah, but then you trade down the Vikings, you get more picks, and you drafted Brian Thomas Jr., a guy from LSU. LSU always seems to produce really good wide receivers. So we'll see. Hopefully, they're hoping he can be another one. He should be good. And yeah, like you hope he can eventually be your number one. But like, because if Davis and Kirk are number two and three, that's really good. But it's not those guys are even your number one. That's not that good. Behind him, you got Parker Washington, a second year guy from Penn State. He did have 16 catches, 132 yards, and two touchdowns last year. So he didn't play much, but you're kind of hoping he'll probably won't be playing much this year either because he'll be your fourth guy. But still, he's good depth. Then behind them, you got Devin Duvernay. He barely ever did much with the Ravens, but he's also dealt with a lot of injuries. Like last year, he did nothing. Like even in only 13 games, he only had 4 catches. So yeah, but like the Ravens wide receivers usually don't tend to have very good years since Lamar came. No offense to Lamar, he's still really a quarterback, but they just don't a lot of the time. Unless you're say Flowers this past season, they had a good one. Then we got mostly just young and middle mounted guys and Elijah Cooks and Tim Jones. You do got Denzel Mims way down the depth chart. Who you can? I feel like he won't. He might not. I don't think he'll like the. It's really tougher to make the roster, but I feel like he has a chance to make it over Elijah Cooks because he was a former second round pick. He was not worth that pick, but still. So he's fine. We'll see what happens. But then say Seth Williams and Brevin Easton, young amount the guys. That's it. Same. Then you got Joshua Cephas and Austin Trammell. They're not none of them making the roster unless they come out of nowhere. Sam all the guys that are like 7 and further on the wide receiver depth chart. Mims is the best guy that has the best chance I think to make the roster out of all of them. But it's gonna be tough. Yeah, but Elijah Cooks, he should he should not be that hard to beat out. So that's it for our receiver group. They got good wide receiver depth. Like then you got a tight end. Let's go tight end. You got Evan Ingram. he had some good years with Giants, but then he came to the Jaguars. Not this last season, but the last season before. Since this will be a third year with Jags, he had a career year his first year with the Jags, but then he had another breakout season with the Jags last year. He had 63 yards. He had 114 catches, which is crazy for a tight end, and 4 touchdowns. So yeah, like a few more catches, and he's got 1,000 yards. But there's Ingram, and behind them you got Luke Farrell. If it's, you kind of hoping Brenton Strange can beat him out for number two. Luke Farrell's okay. He's not that good. So like, is there a reason you drafted Brenton Strange last year of the second round from the Penn State? So you're hoping he can step up and have a little bit of a breakout year, but year number two. Like behind them, you got Josiah DeGara. He had shown from last year with the Packers. He was never that good for them. He was a not worth. He was never worth a third round pick. But also the Packers never have their good third round picks and stuff like for the longest time. So that's it for their weapons. They got some good weapons. Like that's like you got three good wide receivers. Maybe one really could be a really good one, Thomas. You got a good tight end. You got a great running back. And you got a good and maybe great quarterback. Then offensive line, it's okay. It's not that good. You have Anton Harrison at right tackle. Hopefully, he'll step up his second year and have a breakout year. And then you have at left tackle. You got Cam Robinson. He's okay. Like you can like they're kind of. I think a lot of people are kind of hoping he'll Walker Little can finally like break out in front of him. Like Little has shown like he should be a starter somewhere. It's just Jaguars have Robinson. They used to have Jawan Taylor. Then they drafted Anton Harrison last year. So like he haven't really never had a chance to be a starter, but he is a free agent this season. So like if he doesn't get starting opportunity this year, he should leave. In my he like that's the best thing for him, so he can get some starting opportunities. Was still relatively young. We also got Cole Van Lanen. He's okay, backup depth, but he's not even that good. Then you also got Javon Foster. He's a rookie first round pick from Mizzou. So if Little does leave, you got another young developmental guy at tackle. As, but he's an old tackle. He already is 24 as a rookie. So it's not like he's a very young guy, but he's still a developmental tackle. So let's go interior. Got Edge Cleveland. He did not have a good year last year. There's a reason why the Vikings decided to trade him in the middle of the season when their offensive line was not that good. Like they replaced Dalton Reisner, and Reisner was a huge upgrade for them last year. And they traded Cleveland here, and then he re-signed with the Jags. So then they at center they brought in Mitch Morris. He's a good center. He had some good years with the Bills, but he's getting a little up there. He isn't. I'm pretty sure he's in his 30s at this point. Then right there, you got Brandon Scherf. He's another really good right guard. He's another guy getting a little up there. So we'll see what happens there. But he's a good right guard for now. But it's hard to say how long he'll keep that up. Then behind them, like if you rack up the interior, you got Blake Hansen, Luke Fortner, and Cooper Hodges. Luke Fortner is your best backup interior guy out of these guys. Like the other guys aren't that good. Fortner is okay. Behind them, we also got Tyler Shatley, Darrell Williams, and Keelan Sutherland. Young developmental guys. That's really it. So yeah, so that's it for your. Then you got Stephen Jones. He's not to make the roster. So that's it for your offensive line. That's your also if your offense. So now let's skip to the defense. So at edge, you got Josh Hines Allen, former Josh Allen, not the Bills quarterback. He's an edge rusher. He was also a former top 10 pick. He's a really good edge rusher. Like he had 17 and a half sacks, which is tied for second in the league. That's really good. Hopefully he'll have another pretty good year. We'll see what happens there. Like he's for sure number one. Then opposite of him at edge, you got Trayvon Walker. He was a former first overall pick from Georgia. He has not been worth that first overall pick, but a lot of people knew going into that draft he was a young developmental guy. Like he had the traits, but that was really about it at the time. So yeah, but could you imagine this defensive line if they had drafted Aiden Hutchinson first overall? Like these last couple of seasons, like that could be really good for them. But obviously they can't go back. Then at defensive tackle, you got Devon Hamilton and Eric Armstead. Armstead should be your number one defensive tackle. Problem is he's injured right now, but he's still good. Devon Hamilton, he's a good player too. He's a decent. You'd rather not have him be your number one defensive tackle though at this point. Then we got him. Then you got DJ Coleman and Travis Gibson at edge. Travis Gibson's a good player. Like he was, I think he was the one started for the Bears last year. He's fine. DJ Coleman's like the momental guy. So you got Jeremiah Ledbetter and Roy Robertson Harris. Robertson Harris, he's a good depth guy. Ledbetter is not that good. Tyler Lacey and Isizi Omatuma. Otomo is a young memento guy. He was a former draft pick by the Vikings. He was a sixth or seventh rounder, I think. Lacey is a young memento guy. He's not that good. But then you also got Mason Smith. He's a second round pick from LSU. So he shouldn't be this far down the chip chart. I don't really know why he's this far down, but yeah, he is on this. Yeah, also got Jordan Jefferson. He's okay. Like Mason Smith, unless he's just terrible, you should be over Otomo and Lacey. Hopefully even Ledbetter. Maybe even Hamilton, but I don't think they'll start out the season like that. But so yeah. So then you also got Rasheem Green and Raymond Johnson. They're both okay. You also got Miles Cole. He's not that good at all. He's not going to make the roster. So that's it for your defensive line. Next, let's go to your linebacker group. Got Foyesade Olukun. He's a good linebacker. He's okay. Like he got paid a couple years ago, so he's good. And behind him, you got a former first round pick in Devin Lloyd. He hasn't been the greatest, but he's been all right. So if he had another year development, it's just what he needs. He can get better. Then it's your third guy. Got another young developmental guy, Chad Muma. So yeah, like you got a lot. Your linebacker group is pretty young. Venture Miller's another really young guy. Caleb Johnson's okay. You also got another younger guy, Nasir Abdullah, and then he's okay. You got Andrew Parker Jr. and Ty Summers. They're not making. They're not as likely enough to make the roster. And you also got Tanner Muse. He was a former safety. He's moved to linebacker. It's gonna be uphill battle to make it roster because they got like a lot of draft picks ahead of him. That I feel like they'll rather have priority of making the roster for them. But he could. So yeah, so that's it for your linebacker group. You got a good linebacker. You got an okay linebacker group. There's just a lot of young guys that he hope step up. So that's it for the linebacker room. So let's go to their secondary. First, at cornerback, you got Randall Darby. He's okay. Where am I just blind or where is guys? For some reason, they don't have Tyson. Usually their number one corner and Tyson Campbell listed on here. For some reason, he's a really good corner. He got paid for a reason. He's not super well known because nobody pays a ton of attention to the Jaguars. But yeah, I don't know why he's there. So just switch out the left cornerback at Ron Darby with Tyson Campbell as their starter. Then Darby would probably be their starting their outside corner. He's okay. Like how good is he gonna be at this point? It's kind of hard to tell. Like he had a decent year with the Ravens last year, but most of their defense had really good years, so it's kind of hard to tell if that's just a great defense around them. Then you also got Darnell Savage. He can play some slot, but like he's most likely don't be your starting free safety. So like if you do want one of your safeties to be a starting slot, you can have Amos and Wingard start there. They've been good. So yeah. So backup corner, you also got Deontay Price, Tarek Brown, Christian Braswell, young developmental guys. That's really about it. But you got good depth at safety, so if corners do go down, you can move some of those corners, some of the safeties to corner to help out there. We also got Amani Arare and Jerry Jones. Amani Arare, he's a good guy, corner, decent, okay, depth corner. I'll probably find a way to make this roster, but it's gonna be he might not. They also got Jerry Jones. He's okay. Then you also got Craig Good Jr. He's done it for the year, so I'm not going to really talk about him. There's no point because he's not going to affect them this season. But even if he didn't get injured, he probably doesn't do much anyways. So safety, you got Andrew Cisco. He's a okay, strong safety. He'll play get a little better. Then free safety, I already kind of mentioned him. You brought in Darnell Savage from the Packers. He's okay, but like the Packers definitely got a big upgrade in Xavier and Penny when they brought him in this offseason. But he got good safety depth. Got Adrian Amos. He's had some really good years for the Bears and Packers. Most recently the Packers this past season. This past season, he did very good, so he's not that good anymore, but his depth, that's good. Also got Andrew Wingard, another guy who's had to start before, and he's good depth. And then behind them, you got Antonio Johnson and Josh Proctor, young developmental guys. That's really it. Not that good right now, but they could get better. Hoping they get better. This ADML is on 1 year deal. I think Wingard only has 1 year left. So yeah, Thomas is just going to move out the guy. That's it for their secondary. That's also for their defense. They got okay defense. Like you have a lot of young guys who hopefully get better for the most part. And also their special teams. I kicker, you got Cam Little. He's okay kicker. Like you can do better, you can also do worse. And punter, you got Logan Cook. He's another okay punter. But then at punt returner slash kick returner, you got Devin Duvernay. Like he's a good returner for Ravens these last few years. So yeah, he's not he should be a good returner for them. Then you got Parker Washington, Tanks Bigsby. They're also decent returners. Record Washington is for their better backup returner, but it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, they got a good roster. They were near the top of the AFC. They might have even been at the top at one point, but then they just did terrible at the second half of the season. They missed the playoffs. Like they had a chance in the season, but they lost. So yeah, we'll see what happens, and then so yeah, that's that for their roster. So now let's go to their schedule. So week one, you open with the Dolphins. That's gonna be a loss. You're you're probably I think you're gonna beat the Browns because just Chubb's gonna be early back in his recovery. Watson's not been that good for them these past few years, so I think they're gonna win that one. You're gonna lose to the Bills. You know you're probably I think it might be able to split with the Texans, but it's gonna be really tough. Because Texans are gonna be really good this year. Colts can be another good team. Like their division's good. Like the Titans are the only bad team in this division, and they could also be good. They could also be decent because they do have like Will Levis. It all depends on how Will Levis does his second year. If he does bad, they're gonna be bad. If he does good, they can be good. They got against the Bears. You should win. You should be able to win that one. You got Patriots. Definitely should win that one. You got the Packers. You're probably gonna lose that one. It's gonna be a tough one. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose against at the Eagles. I think you should be able to beat the Vikings. It's gonna be tough. Those should be another good game. The Vikings always have close games. Feels like almost all their games these last few years have been one score games. So you got Detroit. You're gonna lose that one. Detroit's another really good team this year. Then you go to your bye. I feel like coming off their bye and at home, they're gonna probably beat the Texans. Then you got the Titans. They should be able to sweep the Titans. You should be able to beat the Jets. Should be able to beat the Raiders. But he might lose to the Jets. Like out of these two, most likely one to lose is the Jets. I feel like his Raiders do not have a good quarterback situation right now versus the Jets. At least Aaron Rodgers pretty much didn't play at all last year. So last year the Packers didn't do very good. At least he's better than it. At least he can be better than Minshew and O'Connell. Then so you should see the Titans. Colts you could sweep, but they could it could really go either way. Like they could either team could sweep each other, but they could also split the series. I feel like it could really go either way. These teams could be these. I feel like at the end of the season, the Colts and Jays could be competing for a wild card spot. Like this game could determine playoff wild card seeding. I'm thinking the Texans win their division again this year, just because they're on paper they should be the best team in this division. But yeah, that's it for some of the Jaguars season preview. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day.